Hi, I'm Shane.
I'm Kelsey,
And
that's
this is Dixie, and we're Love Hut for Life. And for 195 wacky, incredible weeks, we've been traveling around the country in this big old wobble box in the back of our truck.
That's right, guys, and this week we are hanging out in the beautiful state of Virginia, and Shane has a brand new project on his hands. We got to hang out by the water for a little bit, and then started out on an Airstream. This one's gonna be fun, guys. Be sure and hit those subscribe buttons and thumbs up. Oh, good morning, everyone. We are starting our week out at Angel's Rest Hikers Haven in Parisburg, Virginia. But I think it's about time for us to finish up our coffee, say some temporary goodbyes, and go find somewhere pretty to park because it's this guy's birthday.
It's my birthday, and I don't have anything to do today. Every year I work on my birthday, and this year I'm gonna drink coffee.
And also, guys, the high temperature for today is 78 degrees.
Happy birthday indeed.
Has that ever happened on your birthday before?
No, I'm a southerner with a birthday at the end of July. I sweat every year.
Not this year. Oh, that's pretty. That's very, very pretty. Birthday boy looks happy.
Yeah, I did good. So last week, if you guys go back and check out that video, we adventured through some, was it last week or the week before? Time's running together up here in these hills. We adventured through some of these Army Corps of Engineer properties that are up and down the New River where West Virginia and Virginia meet. And this is another one of them, and it is awesome. I do not suggest bringing something big down here, though. That road was wild.
We are on the West Virginia side, and what was the name of this little spot?
Shanklin's Ferry is where we are.
Shanklin's Ferry. It's a nice little spot and appears to be free. There are pay slots, but no prices on them, and I'm not sure if that's intentional or the work of the locals. It's a very, very cool little spot, though. There's spots a little closer together than we generally like, but free and this beautiful on a weekend, couldn't ask for more. We got a small little shower. That's okay, because it cleared out with plenty of time for us to get some dinner cooked.
There's no dinner in there yet. It's just coals.
Soon it will be birthday burgers, though.
Birthday burgers. Is there a candle going in them? You didn't give me any candles, did you?
No candles. Sorry, babe.
How's my wish gonna come true? I guess I'll just make it.
Oh, guys, I gotta say, last night was really, really loud. We were hearing cars driving by and car doors slamming up until like 2 o'clock in the morning. But we're waking up this morning and getting outside to realize that that's because everyone around us was clearing out, and we now have this gorgeous little campground almost entirely to ourselves. There's 1 or 2 campers still all the way on the other side, but certainly not bothering us, and we are considering ourselves very, very lucky this morning. I think we might stay here another night. What do you think, Dixie Doo? Shane seems to be enjoying himself over here. Well, our intent was to float that river today, but I don't know if that's happening. It sounds like it's just gonna be a day of hanging out inside, babe.
Oh. Hope the river doesn't swallow us. Oh.
Oh, good morning, everyone. It is an absolutely gorgeous morning on the New River in West Virginia. But it is time for us to pack up and hit the road. Shane has a brand new project that we cannot wait to tell you all about. But first, we gotta get this big yellow house moving. Where are we going, Shane?
We are headed to meet someone I've been talking to for years. I went and actually looked at this project a few weeks ago and I didn't share it with you guys, so I'm going to be sharing the pictures that I took before she even started cleaning it. But I'm headed to work on an Airstream trailer that is being used as like a backyard boathouse type thing. It's not really ever going to hit the road again, at least not nomadically speaking. And I'm going to remodel a bathroom, all sorts of stuff. I'm excited to show you guys this new project.
I'm excited too, guys, partly because I've already got the opportunity to briefly meet our new friend and am excited to know her better, and also because we are only going to be just a few miles away from the hikers hostel that we have been hanging out with and all of our friends there. So I know that we will be continuing to see them as well, and cannot wait to see what this new adventure brings us. Well, hello, Max. Hey, Max.
Oh, dude.
Here it is, y'all. Oh, look at that beauty. She's done a lot of cleaning since you were here last, huh?
You have no idea. She took everything out.
Awesome. Are you excited, Shane?
I'm very excited. What you think?
Very cool.
Very cool. I agree, Kelsey. Very cool. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to a new project on a hillside in Virginia. I came by a couple weeks ago to take a look at this camper to make sure it was something that I could actually help Wendy out with, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm going to show you guys a couple things on the outside of this to kind of give you an insight as to what we're going to be doing. These things, if you've never been inside of an Airstream or had access to one, they are totally different than most campers on the road. Avion and Silver Streak, they look similar and they're built with similar techniques versus what you see a lot of the big box campers going down the road are actually made. These are made more like a boat or an airplane. We have a metal skin that's riveted, and you can see the little rivets here. There's thousands of rivets, 4,000 to 5,000 at least inside of an Airstream. And one of the things they do is they rivet this trim over the seam where this shell meets the bottom, the trailer. And the problem is, with age, and this one's quite old, they leak. You get leaks through air conditioners and vents and what have you up top, around windows sometimes. There's a multitude of ways it can leak. So I'm here to find all the leaks and fix all the problems. One of the biggest problems is this one was replaced by a bigger camper, so it kind of got put on the back burner. And a trailer sitting for just a couple years in an environment like Virginia where it gets hot, it rains, it snows, it ices, it's humid up here. A lot of temperature swings, and rot will happen because all that water coming in just runs through these walls. There's no wood studs to fell, there's no sheetrock, there's no wood. It's all metal. This is just metal covered in it looks to be a wallpaper. And as you can see, we have mildew happening because there's just moisture trapped in this metal tube and it's got nowhere to go. So my job is to cope with all of this. Now, traditionally, if you're going to remodel a Airstream, the proper procedure is removing all those rivets outside along the bottom, removing all the structures inside, and then lifting the shell up in the air. It only gets lifted maybe an inch or two. You just have to have enough room to be able to get this plywood out and put it back in because the exterior walls sit on top of the plywood decking. We're not going to be doing that because this thing's never really going to live on the road again. It's going to be a lawn ornament and a boat house or pool house. See, there's a pool. So we're going to be changing how this thing works. We're going to be removing a lot of the systems like the water heater and the short connections. We want to be able to use the toilet and we want to be able to turn on the lights. The air conditioner is even going away, which is a big power draw, and you need a 30 amp connection for that, and we don't have that here. So we are going to revisit the electrical on top of dealing with the floor and hopefully create a beautiful space and bring some life back to this thing because a lot of happiness has been had in here, and I hope that continues for many more years. Let's see what we can do about this.
Meanwhile, I think me and Dixie will be able to keep ourselves easily entertained here.
Well, let's do a little learning. I feel like it's important for those of you that are converting buses, vans, wagons, whatever you're doing, to understand where the RV industry came from and where it's moved to and how things are being built differently now. Check this out. So earlier there was a water heater there. There was also nightstands here, and let's talk about what I've exposed. So the shore power connection is a 30 amp extension cord, and it runs out of this down the bottom, and then it was hard connected. It is hard connected to this camper. Now we have plugs on the side that we plug 30 amp and 50 amp connections into. This one also only has 2 breakers. It was in the nightstand, and it's labeled. This is the air conditioner. This is everything else. So all the outlets in here are all on one grid, this grid. And most of the lights in here are 12 volt lights, which this connection powers a battery charger. And that's how the 12 volt grid in this thing works, which allows you to get in here and turn on the lights while you're traveling down the road. This is our main water supply. And you would attach to there, pressurize the system, and you had a water heater. And then this is the junction for everything. So the bathroom is just right there. The kitchen's up front. These two are the water lines that run all the way up to the kitchen. This is a pressure regulator. This thing is massive. This is what you see on houses usually. I guarantee the house you live in has one of these somewhere, and it helps to make sure that the city pressure cannot push past 50 PSI or whatever this one is rated for. And you can see that by checking the tags usually. This one is 25 to 75, and you can adjust it with this little screw. The water heater was a propane water heater. What I'm going to be doing is installing a door over that. Also, what we're removing is the tank. This Airstream only has one holding tank. This is black and gray, so it's just black. There's no gray tank. There is a drain line that runs from the sink and wraps all the way around to here, but mostly that line function as the holding tank for that, the gray for the sink. So you only had as much as it would hold until it got to the dump valve, which is directly underneath here, and you'd crawl under there and connect your stinky slinky and connect it to the park. And then once you were connected, you got to use everything. They installed this so that you could actually use the bathroom while you're traveling if you needed to. It would be rather impossible to use the shower or the sink. Like I said, all the holding area is just the drain line, so it only holds a small amount, but it'd be enough to wash your hands if you needed to. The reason we're moving this is because this thing is in a backyard and we don't have a sewer dump like we do at an RV park, nor do we have a 30 amp or 50 amp connection like this calls for, so I'm having to augment everything. This tank is going to be removed and we're going to be putting a cassette style toilet in here so that it can easily be taken in the house and disposed of properly. I am just progressively working on getting this tank out without damaging everything, because they use very little screws in building these Airstreams. Almost everything is held together by rivets, and I'm having to drill out each rivet in order to free up everything that I need to free up so I can get this tank out. I gotta go crawl under this thing now. Yo, hang on. To continue from what we're talking about on the inside, this is your dump valve on this one. It's very simple. Just one, has a little lock. You could position it and keep that from coming out. But what I've got to deal with, oh look, it's my buddy Max. Such an awesome dog. Oh. Now, under here is where all the brown stuff came out. All the water comes out of one area. Those hoses that I was talking about from the sinks, you can see one of them here. This would be from the shower and the bathroom sink, which is directly above us. The kitchen sink one probably connects in. You can't see it, but it's right there. I have to get this whole housing out in order to get the tank to pull up. So I gotta get the rest of this metal plating off as well. As you can see, underneath these things is quite different than our current styles of RVs. They had a whole belly. Everything is installed up in that belly. Some of the four-season campers have something similar to it, but most of what you see at the campground has an exposed underside, and you can just crawl right under them and see everything. The only thing that's exposed on these is the gas line, and this runs directly up to the front where the double tanks sit, and then every appliance that needed gas, it simply just tees off like it does here, and they just rained it up through a hole. So these are holes we have to patch as well. Everything needs to be sealed up so moisture stops going inside of this puppy. Let's see if I can get this thing out of here. And there you go. One poop tank gone. There's what's left of the valve. It looks like some of this ABS, which is this black stuff, had already broken. The connection that went to the sink actually was broken. So if that sink were to have been coming on, it was probably just draining out of the bottom of the camper, which could be a reason for all the corrosion around this thing. There's no telling how long it's been leaking. Let's see what more surprises I can find in here. Maybe I'll take a break first. I'm tired. I have to wonder if I'm as dirty as I feel. I've crawled underneath this thing and worked quite hard to get this bathroom all removed, and I finally did. First, I'll show you where everything went. That's where the toilet was. These are the vents that go up to the ceiling, which allow for the bubble, the gurgle, the burp, if you will. Every residential, every RV, all of them have a vent that goes up to the roof. Getting the shower out was quite the challenge because it sits down in here. This wooden box continues to here, and this is the wheel well. This is a double axle trailer, so it's quite long. And the shower pan fits into this space, and then it just has a normal drain that goes down, and that would route out to the dump. It didn't actually go in the holding tank. The pipe is the holding tank, so you really can't use this unless you're shored up. Now let me show you what I got out. Two things. One is this toilet, which I suggest any of you that are looking into converting something like a cargo trailer or even a bus, and you don't want to put the tanks underneath it. As you can see, there was a tank mounted on the floor, and then this toilet's so small, you do the math and you buy the right size tank, and this just mounts to the top of it. And you have the ability to flush without having your tank swinging around underneath your trailer. Now this fits into that peculiar spot. The wheel well would go here, and this has multiple purposes.
purposes. One, it actually fits in the space. Two, it allows someone tall like myself to be able to get in here and sit down and still be able to bathe. Versus a lot of these new age showers and RVs, I can't fit in them. My head hits the roof. They just don't work. Now this is obviously a bit of an antique, and I really want to preserve this. It has a lot of cracks in it. I didn't do this. This is already there. I'm hoping that I can patch it up with epoxy or resin. We'll see what will actually stick to this material. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna try to figure it out. If I can't save it, then I gotta build one, and I'd prefer not to have to do that. Let's see if we can get some more done. Well, good morning, everyone. I showed up to work today, and Wendy, the owner of the trailer, came in behind me last night and cleaned up all my debris, and I was very happy about that. As y'all can see, I cut out all the rot that was all the way around the wall here. And I did the same in the back yesterday. Today I'm going to try to be taking the old water heater and retrofitting the cover and get it put back in here so we can get this hole sealed back up. As well as I'm going to be tearing into the bathroom a little more. We've determined that we do want to keep functionality of the shower, but I don't believe we're going to be going with the original shower pan. I think we're going to try to do something a little prettier. So I do need to be working in this space. I'm probably going to remove this wall. As you can see, it looks like some person in the past has went ahead and grabbed a hold of it, trying not to fall, and damaged it. And this wall back here is leaking along these seams. You can see some daylight up there. And also, we're just going to get rid of this sink. It's not the prettiest thing in the world. Let's see what we can get done.
Hello.
Friend?
Oh my, it's looking a whole lot different in here than last time I was in here.
Yeah, look at the bathroom, it's gone.
Wow.
We've decided we're going to rebuild the entire bathroom as well. So there's not much left in here that's stock. Bunch of mildew still though.
You'll get it all taken care of though.
Totally. I'm now measuring out things so we can go buy supplies and make it look different.
Fun. This thing's gonna be so awesome when it's all done.
I agree. Well, now that I've sufficiently torn this thing apart, I've taken out everything that needs to be taken out, and now it's time to start moving towards building it and making it look good. The first thing I'm going to be accomplishing is this giant gaping hole. We're going to be doing a different style of bedding in here than what was originally in here, which is why I've cut out the big chunk of copper tubing that was in here. And I do believe I'm going to go ahead and remove the rest of the copper plumbing as well, and I'm going to replace everything with PEX. But I need to plug this hole up, and this water heater used to live there. So the best solution to doing that without having to get more aluminum, cut out a piece and then rivet it in here so that it matches the rest of the camper, I'm just going to be taking the tank off of this access box, and then I will glue some patches where all of these things come through this box, and then I'll rehang it. So from outside you'll still see the water heater, but on the inside it'll just be flush with the wall. Let's see how hard it is to get this thing taken apart. I bet they didn't make it for this.
Well, y'all, I am hiding from the rain, but it's not stopping these two from still getting some work done on the Airstream. Determination. Whoa, what are you doing now?
Shut that door. All the dust is getting out. I am making a mess. That's what I'm doing. This is a fiberglass shell shower from the 80s, 70s. I don't know. It's ugly. It's going away. And we're going to be putting a towel shower in here.
Awesome.
I agree, awesome. But first, gotta remove it.
So many projects on one property.
Right? Here, hold this. Thanks. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another fun-filled day. Yesterday, I made a big mess inside the house, and I removed an old school fiberglass shower shroud inside. Today, I gotta get back in there and tear out some more sheetrock and that temporary wall that they had put up to go around the shower. We're gonna be removing it because we're gonna be building a curbless shower in there. I'm really excited about it because I don't get to build a lot of showers. I don't like putting them in buses because tile, in my opinion, just doesn't belong in a school bus or a van. I also have some work to do out here because I've got to get a bunch of supplies ordered to get this flooring fixed all around me and to start building out the bathroom. But until I can get in the house and start working, I'm going to work on the outside of this thing too. Now this thing is a 73 model, I believe. And if you notice, it's only got 4 numbers on it, which is cool. Most of the ones I see have 5. And along the way, through different owners, there has been leaks. It looks like this thing's been leaking for a long time, according to the different types of caulk and the age that they appear to be. So there's no surprise whatsoever that we have such a failure of flooring in there, but we still do have to get it sealed up. And part of doing that is removing all the old caulk, which is a bit challenging. We started out testing with some acetone, which does not affect aluminum naturally, but over the years with Airstream, they've changed the chemical compounds of the alloy that they use to wrap it with, and they also have used varying degrees of clear coat. And what happened was, you can see a nice lovely handprint right there. There was some acetone on the owner's hand and it touched, and now that is chemically etched in there. So what it did was it ate away at the clear coat. So we've been trying to find a product that does not tear up the aluminum, that will get rid of this residue, which is all over this thing. It's up on the roof, it's around the trim rings. It looks like the owners were desperate to make it stop leaking, and I hope we find the true source of all the leaks. There's several different possibilities, and I'm going to try to fix all of them. But first, I got to get this stuff scraped off. As you can see, it turned black, and this one appears to be some sort of silicone. I've just never seen it go black like this. But what we've landed on is this good old product. Very expensive and hard to come by. This is 70% and it worked okay. I had a small bottle of 90% and it worked really well. So we're gonna go pick up some denatured alcohol or white fuel or camp stove fuel, whatever you want to call it. And I have a couple other uses that I can use that for as well. But this seam here is the product of me cleaning with alcohol. And it started out looking like this. So I'm quite impressed with that performance. And we're going to continue using it around the whole camper. Let's see if we can get this thing gussied up. Finally made it inside today, and let's see what we're working on. So the idea here is we're gonna rip out this wall. It's not a load bearing wall. They just built it to go around that real fancy pink fiberglass shower that they put in here in the 80s. And we're gonna be knocking it out because our goal here is to create a curbless shower, and that basically means it's just gonna be a smooth transition from flooring to shower. And then the water that lands inside of our shower pan will drain down to the hole. but it will be waterproof all the way around in case there is any moisture that decides to come out of there. It's an easy fix, and you just squeegee it right on into that drain. Oh, it reminds me of working in a bar, which I did for many, many years. Before I can get to all that, I have to take out the wall, and I also have to figure out the subflooring. They've used MDF or particle board, whatever you want to call it. It's basically glued together sawdust, and it's failing. You can see where the watermarks are here. It's failing underneath the toilet. It leaked at some point in the past, and the leak got fixed, but the damage didn't. So the flooring is still giving, which means the leak is coming back. So I really just need to replace all of it, but I have to verify that there is plywood under all of this MDF, which is what it looks like, but I have to crawl under the house to find out. So let's go. All right, so I'm under the floor as well, and I'm inspecting what's down here. Our shower area is just above us, so we do have plywood. And then apparently that MDF sits on top of it. Now something fun happened yesterday when I was taking out the shower pan. I dropped the drain tube. I shoved it back down through the drain after I released the clamp. And this is our P-trap for the shower. And it's full of water. The shower hasn't been used in years apparently, but there's still water in it. And there was only one hanger, which is this. All they use is the same stuff as similar to this. You can barely see it. Call it plumber's tape, and it's just very flexible metal that you screw to the beams, and it's meant to hold up your plumbing. There's a beam here, and there should have been tape applied to it, but there wasn't. So a fulcrum happened, and it leveraged the PVC. And this is an 80s house, so the PVC's got some age to it, which makes it a little brittle. And the drain line ripped away from the black line, or what we just call a sewer line in a regular house. Well, I think I've made it about as far as I can go today. But boy, y'all check out this progress. As you can see, there's a sign of what happens when you got a loose toilet. It can really destroy a lot, and you never know what's happening, particularly with this vinyl flooring, because you just don't see the moisture. All of this on the top level is still that particle board or MDF, whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to cut it all out tomorrow, but one of the residents of this house goes to sleep in about an hour, so I got to get out of here and quit making noise. I'm going to go find Kelsey. I bet she's in the pool. Good morning, all you beautiful people. It's another fun-filled day on a hillside in Virginia. And today, I'm working inside. I left off yesterday after I moved the vinyl flooring out of here. And what I'm standing on top of is this particle board. Because we're doing tile and we're going to be doing the Schluter system. I'm still working on pronouncing that name. It is a new type of system that home builders are using. We're going to be putting it in here, and it uses a detachment mat as well as foam board for hanging the tile and the tray versus the old school way of hanging rock board or hardy or backer board, whatever you want to call it. It's a lot more lightweight, and once you get streamlined at it, you can build a shower in 1 to 2 days versus it taking almost a week to do it the old school way. So I'm really excited. But in order to lay down tile, I've got to get up all of this particle board first. And as you can see, the toilet has wreaked havoc in this situation. The plywood still appears to be good from the underside. I'm going to be adding 3/4 inch plywood on top of all of this because there's plywood underneath all of this particle board, and we're going to stack it up and leave the shower recessed so we get that super cool seamless transition into the shower area. This thing is going to be beautiful, and I'm really excited. Well, let's see if we can get all this out. Well, I'm making some progress for sure. You know, as I travel all over the country building these things, I meet a lot of dogs, and I love dogs. I love dogs so much. I love animals so much. And I was warned when I got here that this one particular little fluff ball was kind of tough. He hasn't left me alone since I started. He's a very good protector, this one. And inspector. Protector, inspector, I declare. You want to help? Or you just want to watch? Just like all the other old dudes. Just want to watch. I wanted to show you guys something because I find it very important for what I normally do, which is convert school buses and vans. People ask why you can't use MDF or particle board, or I really even am of the opinion that you don't even use OSB, you use plywood, or if you can find it, Baltic plywood, but that stuff's rather expensive and quite impossible to come by at this time. This is what happens when particle board gets wet. There's nothing to this stuff. It's literally just sawdust from a sawmill, and they combine it with glue. You don't want this in your bus. This stuff will expand. This is 3/4 of an inch when you lay it down. It can grow to an inch or greater with moisture exposure. Y'all stay away. Boy, that's some tough work.
As for me, I've been pretty much living inside of this pool behind me. You can't blame me, guys. It's like 91 degrees out here. Shane, on the other hand, has been very, very busy with the help of Dixie, of course. And our other 3 furry friends, or 6 actually, if you count the cats. Hey, Shane.
Hello.
How's it going in there?
How'd you get up there? It's dusty. It's very dusty. Making progress, though.
I'll come inside and get some pics. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah, come on. It's a construction zone.
There's one of our furry friends right there. Sam I Am is definitely a big help to Shane. We're trying to keep him out here though so he doesn't breathe in all of this dust. Whoa, whoa.
Beautiful, right?
It will be.
Looks like everyone's dream shower. It will be soon. Very soon. It will look like a shower. Well, I've spent all day in this 8-foot by 8-foot tiny little hole. It's now bigger though. Y'all check it out. I'm gonna run a fan over this area tonight to help it dry out. This helps you get a good idea of what happens when you have a leaky toilet. And it wasn't per se leaking. There was an actual wax ring on the toilet, and the floor was just giving, so the toilet couldn't anchor to it, and this is the damage that can occur. But it's going to be savable. None of that is falling through. That's worse than it. It looks worse than it is. So we'll dry it out with a fan, and then I'm going to come over the top of this with 3/4 inch plywood to build the floor up, because we're building this awesome shower in this corner. You'll make sure you come back next week, because on top of finishing this bathroom next week, I'm going to be making a lot of headway on that cute little Airstream out there. I'm gonna build a shower in there too. I'm just turning into a shower builder this week. See y'all next week.
Guys, I hope that you enjoyed that as much as we did, and I want to take the time to say thank you to each and every one of you who followed us through this video and any of our other hundreds of videos before it. If you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any of the updates on this project or any of Shane's other projects, or even the awesome adventures that we get to go on while traveling the country in this crazy house of ours.
If you're looking for a different point of view into our life, check out our Facebook and Instagram. You can also send us a direct message there, or you can send us an email at LoveHut4Life@gmail.com.
Also guys, check out our new Etsy page because that is where you will find all of the crystals and gemstones that you watch us dig up and watch me turn into jewelry. I hope to see you guys next week. Peace out. Have a good one. Bye y'all.
Bye, y'all.